Welcome, Jacket fans, to the 2019 football show, the Yellow Jacket Highlights. We're thrilled to have with us today Coach Tim Hakel, who's a new man at the Yellow Jacket helm. First game out of the box. You're new, but this isn't a new football game to you by any stretch of the imagination.
Absolutely not. This is year 51 as a player coach, Carl.
Started at what? You graduated from Needville.
Yes, sir.
And take us from that point to this point at this time.
Lord, we'll be here till next Sunday. We won't have to go to church, will we?
Well, that's okay.
Got out of Needville, went to Texas A&M. While I was at Texas A&M, Bryan High School, lost some coaches midway through my senior year, so I was able to work under the great Merrill Green in the junior high and high school ranks for a football season. And I got my first job out at Texas A&M at East Bernard, not far from my hometown of Needville. And then from East Bernard, I went to Southwest Texas State, joined Jim Wacker. And after Southwest Texas State, went to TCU. From TCU, went to Rice Consolidated. From Rice Consolidated, then went down back to Fort Bend County and went to Terry High School for 28 years. From Terry High School, I went to the University, back to college level to University of Houston for a couple years, and then now I'm back here at Brazoria County in Alvin, Texas.
Fort Bend County, Brazoria County, the whole area not too far from the home base of Needville. Well, Coach, in the Alvin Sun, you were quoted as saying it's one thing to win the time of possession, but when you win the time of possession, you got to do something with it. I think you said 32 of the 48 minutes of the game is obviously what we had. 2/3 of the ball game, they had 1/3. We just couldn't quite get the job done.
No question about it, and that is one of our goals, and that's one of the things we admonish the kids on trying to attain. We've got to cut down on shooting ourselves in the foot with a couple of our penalties and a few turnovers, but they were a big play ball club, and they got loose on a couple of big plays, and we just couldn't seem to corral them, and so that's why there's a misnomer on the difference in the possessions. But you know, the score was not indicative of how close the ball game was. It was a 1-2 score ball game going into the latter part of the fourth quarter. I was even shocked when I was handed my stat sheet that I asked for at halftime and post game. We were ahead on first downs, we were tied on possessions, and then where they got us was turnovers. We had some self-inflicted wounds on some turnovers, quarterback center snaps, and we were jittery. But overall, I was proud of our scrappiness. We've got a lot of work to do, but they're letting us put them through those sessions of work. So we can build on this ball game.
Well, you started the game by recovering an onside kick. That in itself was a surprise to everybody probably at the ballpark. If you had been able to take it in at that point in time, I think that might have helped, of course.
No question, and the way it looks that we're going to take a break here in a little bit, and then we'll come back and cover those 7 plays.
Sounds good. We'll be back in one moment.
Texas is known for 2 things: football and barbecue. At Joe's Barbecue in Alvin, we support high school football. Show up in your school colors and you'll automatically get 10% off. Joe's proud to serve certified Angus beef. Joe's Barbecue. It's all about the barbecue.
This is a wonderful kickoff right here. We pooched it, tried to get the ball between the 25 and 30, and Christian Young stays in his lane, and for some reason that ball stuck right there between the base of the numbers and the sideline, and we recovered it, and it's 1st and 10. Alvin Yellow Jackets start the ball game. We were pretty excited about that opportunity. We just didn't capitalize on that turnover by Stratford. This next one's going to be, I think, a little defensive play by Thomas Gable. Yep, Thomas comes off the edge and grabs the quarterback on the zone read and stays disciplined, and that's a tackle for a loss. And
Pursuit was good.
Pursuit was very, very good, yes. Angles are the name of the game, and we didn't keep our pursuit angles. We lost. We usually lose that play, but this play here, the pursuit was excellent, and he was able to get a little help from his teammates, and we tackled him for a loss.
Well, you had 11 Jackets touch the football, 102 yards rushing. Perez with 24 net yards was the leading ball carrier. Brian Jones also carried it nicely, and Bloom with 22 net each. Cody Smith was only 2 of 7, but for 23 and 24 yards, had 2 pretty good passes.
No question about it. And I believe this next play right here is going to show us a whole host of Jackets on a defensive play. We might have a little technical difficulty here from the way it's looking. It's not loading, but in fact, I was here it is right here. Zone read, and we get penetration, and there's a whole host of Jackets on that tackle. The defensive line gets great punch, collapse on the edge, outside linebacker folds in, and you can't ask for much better football than right there. We just have to stay consistent with that kind of defensive football, no question about it.
If you sum it up, if you look back at the end of the first half, if you, in getting stopped at the 1 yard line, that was a critical play.
No question about it, but coming back here now, we run a little tall sweep. David Bloom, I want to watch this play on the perimeter by David Bloom. He gets an incredible block that frees Richard Valdez and gets about a 24-yard run right there. That's good high school football. We just got to get consistent. Great block.
Yeah.
Point of attack. Richard gets outside, makes a little cut right there, and can't be more pleased with that football play. We start off right here. This next play here, we're going to chunk it. And we feel like they're getting a little loose on us and being slacky, so quarterback rears back and throws one out to the younger kid, and Cody makes a great connection, and he brings it down. And we got a little momentum going. I think this was an 8-minute drive in this possession.
He does a good job of coming back to the ball,
He does a good by the underthrown, with the inside shoulder throw, and comes back to the ball, and he's got a height advantage, so that helps out immensely too. And here's another defensive stop. Again, it's just a whole bunch of Jackets. We thought we tackled them for safety, but there's more eyes on it than we have from the sideline. They felt like he established his possession back inside the playing field. So, but look at the possession. The great punch by the D-line. There's good collapse. There's people running around the ball, like a lot of white jerseys around the football. And that's good football. That's good defense by the Yellow Jackets right there. I believe this one here, quarterback sets up, throws one to Sam Bell. Sam makes a great back shoulder catch again, crossing over into Stratford Spartan territory. Good protection. Quarterback takes his time. Cody lets it go, hits that back shoulder, and there's again we have a little advantage with the height with the receiver versus the defensive back, and we have a good play here. Very proud. Good possession. Got a little momentum, and that's exciting. A lot of excitement on sidelines after that play.
If you take a look also at a couple of other situations, you had 5 fumbles altogether in the game, but losing 2 of them, especially around the goal line, was another, obviously a factor that hurt.
There's no question about it, and I guess the frustrating part about the fumbles, they weren't mesh fumbles. Usually when you run the option, you have a mesh fumble or a fumble at the pitch, and these were generated within ourselves. Again, we're just pulling the gun out of the holster and shooting ourselves in the little toes up, so to speak. Yeah, kids were so frustrated, and that was just pre-game. They had a couple too, and they got theirs back. We lost a couple of ours, but those are things that can be solved.
Okay, we'll be back to wrap things up for the game, but first this message.
Texas is known for 2 things: football and barbecue. At Joe's Barbecue in Alvin, we support high school football. Show up in your school colors and you'll automatically get 10% off. Joe's proud to serve certified Angus beef. Joe's Barbecue. It's all about the barbecue.
Well, this Friday evening at Memorial Stadium, we tee it up at 7 o'clock against Fort Bend Kempner. Tell us a little bit about the Cougars.
Darren Andrews is going to bring a fine Cougar team to the town. Darren used to coach here at Alvin. He's a good friend. I tried to hire him when he first got out of college. Teaching field didn't fall into place. It'll be a carbon copy of 2 ball clubs. They run the same offense we run. We run the same offense they run. Kickoffs at 7. This game probably be over at 8:15 because there won't be many passes thrown. We laugh about that. They have as good an offensive guard as I've seen in high school football. These kiddos committed to Texas A&M, and he's got a tandem buddy next to him at center. they're going to run behind those two horses, and they're going to give the ball. They're a fullback, quarterback-oriented offense, and we've got to play heads-up football. We got to fit our gaps, and we've got to play our angles to stop that type of offense. And they're going to try to chew up the clock just like we will. Offensively, we've got to work on controlling the clock and use the snap count as our biggest weapon. Defensively, we got to have good fits and play good angles. And special teams, we got to dominate. Pretty much like we did last week.
Last week, 2/3 of the time you had the football. This time we just need to keep that 2/3, but let's get them across the goal line.
No question. And it'll be a good ball game.
Okay, we're going to go with youth and junior high night this Friday night, 7 o'clock at Memorial Stadium. We'll see you then. Thank you, Coach Haeckel, and good luck.
Appreciate it, Carl.